I think that this day demonstrates how far Georgia is actually. If we take the 9 countries who are in the neighborhood program and how they are evaluated on various parameters, Georgia actually comes in as the most qualified. We say Albania, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Georgia, Kosovo, Moldova, Montenegro, Northern Macedonia, Serbia, and Ukraine. And Georgia, Moldova, and Ukraine are, if you evaluate it, actually in the best position. Looked at how, and that is particularly because in those countries civil society is more developed. In the Western Balkans, they are lagging behind exactly in that same direction. Another thing which we can notice today is that we have a vivid discussion and also critics of the present government of Georgia. I think of these statements about the sovereignty and the fight against foreign agent law, which was challenged after a political protest. That was actually what was possible in Georgia. That has not happened in Russia. That is a great difference, actually. That the government actually backs down when there are huge peaceful protests. No military used. And actually, that is one of the, I would say, miracles of Georgia. Georgia was the first country with serious fights when the Soviet Union broke up. Georgia is in, there are a lot of things to do, of course, that's quite right. And these 9 points, which Peer came up with, which had to be addressed by the Georgian government and Georgian Parliament, these are really issues which should be taken up. But they are precise and they are possible. So in this way, I think that this is, it summons us as to consider that Georgia is one of the most important countries to support just now because they are really a good background, particularly in civil society. And we all know that there are kleptocracy is one of the problems, but we should also notice one very important thing, that is that Georgia is on the top place with 43, on the 43rd or 41st place on transparency and corruption, whereas there is a jump down to the next one, which is on the 80th place, and that is Northern Macedonia. So I'll just notice this. Moldova is also quite well. That Moldova is not so bad as several others. Ukraine, unfortunately, is on the 126th place. It is definitely not the worst, but it is very low.
And it has
actually.
Improved.
Pardon?
And it has improved.
Well, that is right. From 2002, that is quite right. But the fight against the corruption and the strength of civil society are very much interconnected, and freedom of the press. Because without those things, you cannot expose those who are misusing the system. That there was also a program of de-oligarchization, or however you should pronounce it, that is also very important because this concentration of power is also a concentration of influence. And if we should have a pluralistic society, you have to share influence in such a society. I was also very happy for addressing particularly the ombudsman question, because that is one of the possibilities you have to help parliamentarians to engage the government in order to have good governance. And good governance is also very important, but it was also stressed here in the last phase, and I think I'm very happy that we went over time. Excuse, but I'm happy because some of what came in the last phase with the questions was very important. And the misuse of the judiciary system is one of the worst things. We saw what had happened in Ukraine when, after the Yukonovich government and administration took over, that you make lawsuits against your opponents for things you are doing yourself, using the anti-corruption methods to kill the opposition. That is really parodical, but it is dangerous and lethal, actually, for a functioning state, democratic functioning state. And then the last thing, which I also, one of the last remarks, I think is very important, to raise culture. Culture should build bridges. It should not be something which should be concentrated in some sort of sovereign, obligatory culture which is used imperialistic to deny the identity of others. This using of violence is discrediting the culture which is actually raped and captured in that way. That people who loved Russian literature and Russian music are turning their back to it. Just now, in Georgia, in Ukraine, in other places. It's a great damage, actually, also to world culture, that you use culture not to build bridges, but to build ditches and to fortify yourself in each your little box. So I think we have a lot of optimistic energy from this meeting, and very much thanks to everybody here contributing to it. I think the path of Georgia is difficult but promising, if I may. Thank you.